Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the World Report. I am your World 2IC, and today we're going to jump right into our daily headlines report for this 19 January 2023. And again, in absolutely no particular order, what's that? Oh, you noticed my Unafraid t-shirt, my limited edition Bear Independent with the No Tread on Me snake. Thank you for noticing. All right, let's jump right on into this one. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is the reports that are coming out about North Korea, and they are saying that they successfully conducted a test of their underwater nuclear weapons system. Now, they said that they basically tested this out in protest for the joint military drills of South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. Now, allegedly, okay, if this thing actually works, this is supposed to be a underwater, unmanned nuclear device that, when detonated, it would send a radioactive tsunami to whoever coast it is detonated off of. So, not a good thing if it works, but uh, they're saying it's a success, and so far nobody's denying that it wasn't. So, interesting times. Excuse me. Next, an oil depot is on fire in Russia, and this was after an attack by a drone that was flown in by the Ukrainian army. Now, because of this strike, there are 4 oil reservoirs that are burning. And then, actually, right before I came on, I thought it was the same exact report, but it looks like a completely different oil depot is reported being hit and on fire. So, looks like Russia is not having a good night tonight. A lot of drone attacks and various other things. So, we'll just kind of data point that one. But Ukraine is not having a good night either. They're reporting that their monobank is currently down. Of course, they are blaming it on Russian cyber hackers. The only thing is, though, is so far nobody has come out and take credit for any of this. So we don't know. It's speculation at this point. But it looks like and I think their mono bank was said to be their largest bank, and so anybody that has that is not able to do any sort of transactions. So data point that one. All right, so next is Mexico and Chile have announced that they will be joining in with everybody that's currently holding accountable for Israel and their genocide. And they're doing it at the criminal court and the international court system of The Hague. So now you're seeing more and more people. They're taking sides. We talked about this yesterday. You know, what is it when you're talking about global war? Well, if we try and look at it in history, and this is going to be completely different. We're probably going to do an episode on this coming up. But you had one side and another side. It wasn't all these little people just going here and here and here and here. In 1 and 2, you basically had 2 sides. The lines were drawn, and you had an axis, and you had 2 different sides to this. Well, this might be how people are taking sides. You've got a bunch of people that are starting to back here, and they're starting to back here, and you're seeing that line being drawn. So data point these, okay? Next, the International Atomic Energy Agency has come out and said that they are now certain Iran has enough highly enriched uranium to build several low and medium grade warheads. Well, that's great news. There's nobody else I would rather have to have weapons grade enriched uranium, but hopefully, hopefully not. And actually, speaking of Iran, it looks like Pakistan has come out and announced that the tensions are over between them and Iran. So they have diplomatically worked everything out. Iran did this, Pakistan answered back, and they said, okay, we're done. And they both agreed. And so far, it looks like everything's died down. Doesn't mean it has. Okay, this might just be on the surface, but as of now, it looks like they have brokered peace after that kind of short little scuffle that they did. All right, so where are we now? Okay, so the Yemeni armed forces claim a direct hit on an American ship. Now, this one is going to be very interesting because there's actually two different stories. And a lot of people, I think, are starting to confuse which one is which. So it looks like there's two ships that have been struck. Uh, the thing is the Yemeni forces are saying that it was a direct hit and that it was a complete success. Well, the U.S. quickly came out and said, no, it splashed down in the water. There's absolutely no damage. Everything's fine. Well, then right after that, the Yemeni forces released a video that apparently was like some sort of hacked we want to call it like a security camera or some sort of camera that showed the deck, showed this missile coming in, direct hit. Okay. The only thing is, though, is there's nothing identifying that ship. So something was hit, but then again, we don't know whose it was, and we don't know when it was. There's nothing that says that they can't change the timestamp or anything like that. All right, so now we're back to square one. Well, then, and I know, relax, but CNN came out and said that it was a British tanker that was hit, and it was completely lost. It was destroyed. So now we're getting all sorts of conflicting reports. When I uncover and do all this, now keep in mind, this is hours old. So here's what we kind of know. Here's some official narratives of everything. We're going to have to wait and kind of sift through it and see what actually comes of this. Okay. So data point it, we'll try and stay on top of it and come back and touch on it. Next, it looks like England has come out and have also claimed success. This is where they tested their new weapon called Dragonfire. And if you don't know what that is, which I didn't know what that was, it is their long-range laser weapon. Now, this one was, I believe, on one of their naval ships, and they test fired it at drones coming in from different directions, altitude, speeds, things like that. And they claimed it was 100% effective at different ranges and all that. So uh, they're trying to come out and say, hey, look at this. While also there's a lot of that data that they're saying, oh wait, we can't answer that question. It's classified. So not quite sure what they're trying to do, other than, hey, we got this, but we're not going to tell you what it does or anything along those lines. So data point that one. Next, Bahrain came out and said that, and they released video. They proved this. So there was one British warship docked in their pier in Bahrain, and there was a second British warship that was coming into pier, and I don't know what it was doing because it was coming in backwards, and they collided, and there's major damage to both hulls per Bahrain. So interesting. Next, looks like Bloomberg has put out an article warning that the Red Sea unrest is bad news for the global food supply. Okay, fair enough. I could see that. They're saying that if the ships can go through unscathed, that it will drive prices up because of the higher insurance and other things like that. They're also saying, though, that if they don't go that route and they have to go around, then it's going to be higher prices due to fuel and everything else. And some of the foods that have to go around may be spoiled, and so you're going to have a total loss, and you're not even going to have the food in the first place. Okay, I can agree with that. I mean, that's totally plausible. Uh, but it does give you a point. Okay, whether or not that actually happens is kind of irrelevant. We're prepping. We're trying to put us into a situation that if something like this happens, it doesn't affect you. Okay, you want to put yourself in the best position possible that whatever's happening around you, you are not affected. Okay, that's your goal. Um, but let's move on to, there was a announcement by the Pentagon that there was a U.S. drone that crashed in Iraq. They're not saying what caused it, and so the only thing that they basically said is the Pentagon's going to, they've recovered it. They're going to do an investigation to try and figure things out, and it did indeed crash. So that's about all we've got. There's a lot of American drones that are kind of having some problems. They're not sticking in the air. So data point that's interesting. Next, so Israeli officials have officially notified the White House and the Department of Defense that a major military campaign will begin if an agreement with Hezbollah is not reached imminently. So that's interesting. Now, again, all words. It's nothing to get excited over. It's nothing that the sky's falling. Until it actually happens, okay, it may just be a threat. It may just be something of look over here. We don't know. We can take it for face value, okay? Here is a potential. What are you going to do with that potential? And you can war game it out and sit down this weekend and go, all right, uh, let's say that Israel does, start ground troops and invade. What will that do? And go from there. Well, that'll do this, this will do this, the US might get involved, and these people might get involved, and this and this, and just war game it out and see what happens. Okay, let's go into the US. So, Microsoft has come out and said that Russian hackers have gained access to uh, basically executive level accounts. Uh, it, they didn't really specify a whole lot, so I'm not as clear to if they're talking about company executives or executive level people that have Microsoft accounts. So not entirely sure what they meant by that, but uh, it's probably not a good thing. Let's see what's next. So Macy's basically told their employees yesterday that they're going to lay off about 13% of their corporate workforce. Now, apparently, they're having a new top executive come in, and they're going to pave the way and make things better for them. I've always been under the impression that Macy's is on their way out, but maybe the new guy will come in and save it. But if you do the math on their current executive level corporate people, 13% will basically come out to be about 2,300 jobs. So not good for the new year that 2,300 jobs are now going to be gone. Next, the U.S. has test fired a $100 billion ICBM. Now, this right here is just to gain data. That's it. Okay. The whole point of this was to fire it off and just record everything and do it. Now, the reason for this is because this ICBM is not made yet, technically. This is basically a very underdeveloped missile as of right now. And with all this data and everything, it's basically they're going to try and take this missile and have the intentions to replace the Cold War era Minuteman III that we have now. So this is supposed to be the next one, the one that takes over. Uh, they're saying it could be quite a while before they get this down to where it's a next level and the replacement begins. They're talking years out. So data point that. Next, the U.S. Department of Defense has announced that they will comply with the White House. Now, what are they complying, you might ask? Well, it is the plan to promote clean energy. Okay, well, how are they going to do that? Well, here we go. So, they announced that they are going to install solar panels on the Pentagon. Okay, I don't know what that's really going to do. Uh, Personally, if you're going to ask me my opinion on it, um, the Pentagon in a the way it should be is a place that controls our military and the defense of our country. And I really would not like to have them be dependent on a Walmart grade battery and a China grade solar panel. Uh, just my opinion. Okay, so but let's move on to the last thing. Let's try and keep this one a little bit short. So I don't know if you've caught this. We've talked about two of these. I'm going to talk about the third one, so I'm going to try and keep you up to date. But into the new year here, Boeing's not having a good year. And let me do a quick reminder in case you missed some of these episodes. So first we had the Boeing that had the door incident. So they took off, the side door panel flew off with all the people inside. Had to turn around, make an immediate emergency landing. Thankfully, no one was killed out of it. There was some minor injuries and things. Could have been a heck of a lot worse, but wasn't. So, but number one. Okay, number two. Well, we saw it not too long ago that Blinken was stuck in Davos due to a major mechanical failure on his Boeing. Okay, number two. Well, did you catch number three today? Some of it got mainstream media, so you may have seen it. So, a Boeing 747 800 that was transporting ammunitions and weapons to Ukraine caught fire during flight. So, midair caught fire. This was all over social media. And this was as it was leaving, I believe it was Florida. If my memory serves me right. Uh, you could see it now. I think they're saying that something happened with the engine, and you saw flames and sparks and everything come out about this. But here we are. We're in the 19th of January. We're still in the first month of January, and we have three major problems with Boeing right off the bat. So, data point that. I mean, you do what you want to do. Me personally, I'm not getting on a Boeing anytime soon. It just seems like they're not having a good year, and I don't want to be on a Boeing in case number four wants to strike up. Now, hopefully, these are just anomalies, and everything's safe because there is a lot of Boeings in the air. But hopefully, this was just a one-off event of all these little things happening, and everything will be fine in the future. So fingers crossed for that one. All right, so that's what I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me a little bit on this Friday, spending some time with me. I always enjoy reading your comments and getting back with you on a bunch of things. We've got some exciting things coming up. Got some different interviews. I'm reaching out to some different people. There's a few other things I'm going to hold off until they are official before I announce them. We've just got a lot of things. Plus, I think I've already got videos for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I think Tuesday. So, I mean, I've been releasing 2+ videos for the past like 8 or 9 days, and I'm still trying to go strong. So, speaking of strong, if you made it to this far in the video, guess what? You rock. I appreciate you very much. And there we go. So, guys, I love each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a very blessed Friday. Stay warm. I've got some snow on the ground. We was outside playing in the snow, so that was always fun. But stay tuned. There's definitely more information to come. And say it with me now. Above everything else, remember to remain united because we're all prepping in this together.